1x1 is one of the 4 original killers of Forsaken, and is actually the one that was made the latest, due to being the last of the 4 and also getting their rework of recent. Spoiler alert, I don't really like the rework or how they implemented it. But besides that, they've been pretty consistently showing up in my lobbies, and since I made a slasher cool kid and Noli video, I figured, why not make a 1x video? I don't know, why don't I chop off my toe considering 3 of them already have injuries? Regardless, 1x1 is a character I've been meaning to make a video of for quite a while. I even had one for him at one point, but ended up scrapping it just because it wasn't that funny. So, 1x1 is based off of something related to Roblox lore, and yes, if you didn't know Roblox is fucking lore, no, I'm not going to explain it, because number one, I don't care enough, and number two, I still have some dignity. But for singing, the 1x1 is the embodiment of Shalitsky's power, alter ego, negative emotions, whatever that being Telemon. With the help of Duskar, he was able to cast it away into his pocket realm, that means sword fights on the heights, until they came back to try and restore it to him without any of the negative side effects, only to find that the 4D power transformed into 1x1, killing Shaletsky, then shortly died to Duskar, leaving them both forsaken. Tragic. Anyways, gameplay-wise, he plays more as a projectile, if anything. One of the few killers that doesn't have a dash or mobility move. Kind of. He doesn't have one with a bit of a wind-up and a reach, but with a good amount of cooldown that deals 20 damage and gives poison 1 for 5 seconds. Which, if you didn't know, deals 8 damage over time, but cannot kill. He has Entanglement, which flies really fast, lasts for only a second, and upon hit, stuns you for a flat second and pulls you inward, with the pull increasing slightly if you already have glitched. Now, something odd I did notice with these abilities is that it doesn't stun you. Well, I'm a fucking liar, then. It actually gives you slowness 10, which does the exact same thing, along with giving you hopeless and glitched for 6 seconds. It seems like a small distinction, but oddly enough, it does make it so that you can nullify the stun from Entanglement and trade for your block's equal speed, due to it being removed upon being slowed, with the benefit of avoiding such slowness. Now, this can be a good or a bad thing, as it can allow you to just barely get out of reach for a follow-up attack, but it does also leave some interesting plays for 1x1 to use if you want to get rid of your cola immediately and gain a tiny bit of distance. Oh yeah, and it deals 10 damage, I guess. More of an afterthought and a side note, if anything. Mass Infection is another movie he has, and is also how my childhood friend died. I mean, hey, at least he gets to die and live on as a Forsaken reference, which is arguably worse than any fate that led for him at death. Mass Infection has a 15-second cooldown and keeps you still for a moment before ejaculating some swords out wherever you're facing, dealing 30 damage on hit and 8 over time via poison and glitch. If landed up close, however, it will deal an additional 25 damage on hit, dealing a total of 77 damage. Now, it's not often 1x1 will land this, but when they do, it's usually because of a survivor being busy with something or just sucking with their stuns. This flies at a pretty decent rate of 100 studs per second, which is only 20% slower than Entanglement. And it lasts for around 6 seconds. Now, there is a global audio cue for the move, which is another thing, that the move deals an additional 10 damage if the player's already glitched. Wow, now I can one-shot an elite if I already landed a hit on them. This move is incredibly good and simple and his main way of dealing damage, and the fact that immediately after the shot comes out, he has 25% speed boost for the head lag, but not being able to use any other abilities, really makes it pretty well. Oh yeah, and upon landing, either of these projectiles is highlighted for 12 seconds. Unstable Eye can be summed up as an eye for a speed boost for 1.25 seconds, terminal blindness for 8 seconds, and highlights every person you want to kill. Rejuvenate the Rotten is the same as before, stab yourself for 4 seconds, then revive everyone you killed, though they can only be revived once, meaning if the minion dies, you can't respawn it. Jeez, what's this guy's deal in, hurting himself, dude? The minions are constantly highlighted to you and will chase a survivor if close enough, but will stop if they get far enough, allowing them to be herded away from good spots if the players are spawned enough, which, fortunately for you, most Forsaken players aren't. The minion will hit a survivor, then stop for 10 seconds, dealing 5 damage, as well as giving poison and glitched for a bit, totaling up to 14 damage. Though this damage cannot kill unless already having glitched. But that is fucking lie, because you still die to it regardless if you're at 1 HP each time that happens to me, which I find stupid. You can kill a minion to give yourself speed 1 for 8 seconds, but are you really going to do that to your best employee? Besides that, 1x1 is decently fast and is a bit jarring, as he's considered one of the best killers when in the olden days of Forsaken he was incredibly weak and considered the worst killer. A couple of other fun little trivias for you is that his moves never had any sound cues before, meaning you wouldn't know if he used Unstable Eye then Mass Infection to kill you in a second. Poison also would be able to kill you, meaning that if you were 27 HP and hit by him, you would in fact die, which honestly I think they should have kept because it was more life accurate, tell my friend. Along with that, he also had 105 stamina rather than the typical 110. Do you see why he was thought to be the worst killer? Obviously it just wasn't that, but it definitely did factor into it. Along with the fact that his damage was very minuscule, Mass Infection only dealt 15 damage on hit back then and was incredibly slow. Now, enough of me yapping, let's go on to him currently with some gameplay. Also, before the segment ends, I just want to say that Vladisco17, the person who made 1x1's new chase theme and ultimately more fitting chase theme for this game, also made a bunch of other retakes. Go listen to him. Anyways, on to the gameplay of this Brigto.
Ever not. You know.
Hey, a day into the futures are here. Upon recording some footage for this video, I was quickly reminded that my computer is absolute dog shit and sometimes just won't work with OBS or have separate problems altogether. Now, whether this is due to me using metal and not setting it up correctly, or my computer just sucking, it will be fixed. I have a job now, and I'm saving up for a new computer setup, which should take about a month or two. Until then, I'll try and learn how to use metal for long recordings and see if it's better than OBS. Till then, I'll probably stick to more yapping videos for you guys to sink your teeth into, while also experimenting with the stuff I want to upload. But back to 1x1x1x1x1. If I can't show you guys gameplay, I'll tell you guys gameplay. 1x1, despite me not liking how easy it is, has stated in another video, I truly do not know how I would go about changing him. And maybe that's just because I haven't played against any really good lobbies, but like, if that's the case, just add pro servers, or even like a ranked mode that follows the rules of the RFL. I feel like the servers list was added just kind of to be wasted. Despite that, playing against my friends who are pretty good at the game is still pretty easy. No offense to them, obviously. They also kick my ass when they're killers, just the way it goes in these games. Now, normally, I'd talk about why, but I already made a video talking about that, so you can go check that out, and it goes more in depth on this topic, so I'm just going to analyze him and how he's played. He follows a pretty simple and easy to grasp playstyle of just land your abilities, yo. Really? It's not really a character I can say, try and do this to win, because if you know how to proficiently play any killer, you already know how to play 1x1. And yes, some are better at predictions than others, but it still follows the same basis. Not to say he's a bad killer by any means, he's incredibly good and annoying to go against at times. But it doesn't also mean that he's impossible to win against. His entanglement and mass infection, while avoidable, will eventually hit you after around 3 misses. It's up to you to keep doing the unexpected, but that becomes harder and harder the less things there are he won't expect. Now, I see a lot of people saying that his biggest counter to him is to just stun him when he hits entanglement, but like, why? I mean, if you have the time to see it and use a move, you have the time to avoid it. The only time I see this being helpful is when you're at low stamina or in a very narrow and avoidable place, but even in that situation, it is incredibly rare. If you want to counter him, the easiest way to do it is to just simply hit him if you can while he's idle or unable to move, since almost all of his abilities stop him from moving in one way or another. This can be especially annoying if you are playing Dusakar. If you time it right and hit him when or before he activates his unstable eye, the speed that he's going to get is going to be completely nullified, along with an extra 0.75 seconds of slowness too. And since Plasma Beam is on such a short cooldown, it is possible to land it every single time he uses said ability. For his mass infection, it can be stopped pretty easy or interrupted with simple charge or stun. Charge usually works the best, if no other stun, considering it makes you invulnerable for 1.25 seconds, meaning you won't take any damage if hit by the mass infection. While 1x1 is technically a snowballer with his minions, it's very subtle. I mean, like, yeah, they help, but it's the same way, like, having 3 babies with knives crawling around during 1v1 is. Like, yeah, they can land some hits and set up for a combo, but at the same time, if you don't let them overwhelm you and just deal with them, they aren't too big of an issue. It doesn't help either with the fact that they can be herded to very inconvenient quarters of the map, where they have to wander out, and if they don't, they either do nothing, or you have to waste an entanglement to get speed from, which they can also just miss due to them just deadass moving out of the way. Anyways, yeah, that was me talking about 1x1 and how they're played, countered some. I don't fucking know, dude. All I know is that I made a video about 1x1, about what specifically I could be damned. I'll probably make more streamlined content in the future and probably have more of a setup for the John Doe video, but I don't know. See y'all. Like and subscribe some shit. I don't fucking know.
Princess, how many times do I have to tell you I'm not interested?